Hey team, it's Patrick from Patrick Smith Tennis Coaching. And if you're serious about improving your forehand, well, one, subscribe to this channel, but also you've clicked on the right video, because whether you're a beginner or maybe you've been playing tennis a while and you always felt your forehand could be even better, in today's lesson, we're going to cover all of the basics. We're going to set you up for success to hit our best shots. So let's get into it. It starts with our split step, and we want to be in the air as the ball is on our opponent's string. So we land in our most athletic position as the ball leaves their racket, and we're ready then to make our unit turn off to this side. We want to turn our body as a unit as the ball leaves their strings. And it's at this stage that we also want to change our grip. We want to use our top hand, our non-dominant hand, to change the grip. So it's turn the body and turn the grip. Now, I like players to be anywhere from an Eastern forehand grip to a semi-Western forehand grip. I'm kind of in between the two myself, but we'll cover sort of all of our grips in a future video. Another detail I like players to make when they turn is to have their elbow up a little bit higher. This keeps the racket on the side of our body. It makes our swing a little bit shorter so we can really find the contact. It gives us a little bit more time, and it also closes the racket face so we can create more topspin later in our stroke. It's these little details that the tour players are making that all add up to the shots that we want to replicate. You'll notice I've still got my top hand on the racket in this position. It encourages me to make my turn. It sets up the racket head above my hand, above the grip level. I can support the weight of the racket with this top hand, allowing me to stay very loose and relaxed with my bottom hand. And I can pull back on the grip level here a little bit, which puts this angle in my wrist, between my wrist and my racket, so it allows me to create lag later on in my stroke. So now I've really set up my body, my racket, my grip, which are the fundamental foundations of the shot. I'm ready to run to the ball. And I want to run to the ball with what we call a running step. So I'm just going to run directly to the ball in the regular way. I don't want to hop out of my ready position here. I don't want to sidestep to the ball. I want to run to the ball, and I don't want to have swung my racket back yet at this stage. I want to keep my hand either on the racket or close to my racket. We call it being like in a sprinter's position. It's just going to be so much easier to move to the ball. And now I can take my stance. Now, whether I play in a open stance or a neutral stance is going to be determined by my last step. So if I step out to the side, I'm going to play more in an open stance. And if my last step is more in, I'm going to be more in the neutral stance. Now, I want to avoid either the semi-closed or the closed stance. Now, are there going to be times that I have to play a ball in this position here? Absolutely. It's just not going to be optimal because I'm not going to be able to rotate my body into the shot in the same way that I can if I was playing more in an open stance or more in a neutral stance. What is going to be key is that I set up to the ball before it bounces. We call it beating the bounce. So I've set up my body, my racket, my grip just before the ball bounces, so I can initiate my shot on the bounce or just before the bounce. Here. You'll notice that having already set up my racket and my body allows me to find the proper spacing coming into the contact, and I can make the proper contact. You'll notice that the head of my racket is still above my hand. It's above the grip level. So I've got space to really accelerate into the shot. I can create a semicircular loop shape, a C shape, where it's going to be more fluid and I can create more power. So to recap, I want to set up my body, my racket before my feet here. Then I can run to the ball and then I'm going to hit. This is the opposite way around. A lot of recreational players do it, where they run to the ball first and then they try and get set up with their body, racket grip, and they're too late and it becomes very rushed and frantic in this position. We want to have a lot of intensity with our setup. We want to prepare early so it allows me to be very calm and relaxed on the hit. I like to say that I can reverse engineer players' mistakes. So let's say we hit a ball wide off to the side there. Well, why did we hit it wide? Our strings were clearly facing that way because I was late. Why was I late? Well, I didn't get to the ball fast enough. And why was that? It could have been, for example, a lack of split step. So you can really trace it back to the start, back to the root cause. And the opposite is true as well. If I have the correct sequence to the start, it has this knock-on effect where I can then go into a good next step and good next step all the way into the ball. An example would be right from my ready position, having, say, my elbow up a little bit out so that as I turn, I get into this position straight away. So a lot of tips for you guys to go out and practice there. As always, if this video has been helpful, please leave it a like and I'll see you on court in the next video.